State your name.
Oh, which one? You want me to look into the camera?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
You can look at me. Look at me. It's all
Okay.
fine. State your name.
My name is Nina Lavoie.
All right. And how long have you been in New York?
I've been in New York for a little over 2 years.
And what are you doing here?
I am a burlesque dancer.
Did you do this in Columbus?
I did. I've been doing burlesque for 5.5 years. So definitely picked it up before I came here to New York. New York was kind of a way I can help make that become an actual real thing.
How long were you in Columbus for?
Wow. I was in Columbus I moved there when I was like 11. So I was in Columbus moved here when I was 29.
And do you like it here now that you're kind of settled?
Yeah, New York has always felt like home. The East Coast has always felt like home for me. I'm originally from New Jersey, so I developed my personality when I was younger on the East Coast and kind of feel like I fit in with the whole vibe here better than I ever did in Columbus.
What made you want to leave Columbus?
Just moving on to bigger and better things. I felt very much like I wanted to be a bigger fish, so I needed to go to a bigger pond.
How long did it really take you to get a good burlesque gig or kind of scene here?
Well, I spent 2 years traveling and doing burlesque before I moved here. So I was here in New York working before I actually moved here. But I would say before I really got into my groove and felt like I was doing gigs I wanted to do, it took me about a year.
And you do burlesque mostly solely, or do you do other things?
I also teach fitness classes, and I am a manager at a gym. So that kind of is my steady part-time income, and then I do burlesque full-time. I also do a few modeling gigs here and there, like, TV and stuff like that.
What do you feel Columbus was lacking or can improve on that you've noticed here that works really well that they could possibly implement in Columbus?
Okay, so I don't know about what they could implement in Columbus. I really think that it's more of a mindset. I feel like Columbus, and I can only go off of my experiences as a dancer, being in both the contemporary modern dance world and the burlesque world, and some of the in-betweens. I can only really speak on that. But I really think that it's a mindset. I think there's a lot of too much ownership and less community, less opportunities for people to work together that normally don't, if that makes sense.
Just in the burlesque world, or do you feel people working together as far as like visual artists, like other performance style artists?
I think other performance styles too definitely could benefit from that. I mean, I don't know much about like the band scene and stuff like that. That's a little bit different. But in terms of performance art in general, I think that needs to be a little more sense of community. I know some of the events that stick out for me that kind of had that sort of sense of community would be like Trauma and Drama. It brought different types of groups together to work in the same space. I think that's what really needs to happen more is, people working together in the same space, people being forced to work together. Because here in New York, I'm forced to work with people and also lucky to work with people that are completely different from me, that I get to learn from. Somebody that I may not have maybe get along with, or maybe somebody that just is in a different realm and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with. Because we have a lot of events that bring us together, it allows me to get to know other sides of performance art that I can kind of tap into. Carmela!
Alright, is there anything you feel you wish you would have done more while in Columbus, or would have been able to experience more of that would have helped your transition to?
I don't think anything could have really helped me better than for my transition to New York. I think it's really just a small town, big city kind of thing, for me at least. I do wish that I kind of got to experience the people who are in Columbus that that work outside of Columbus a lot more, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't, in terms of what could improve Columbus, I really think it's just inviting more people there. Here in New York, so many people are passing through all the time. We're an international hub. And not only are we all working together, but we're also in competition a little bit together. So it forces people to push themselves further. In Columbus, it's smaller. Not many people travel through. So maybe it could be more of having the people who are established in Columbus bringing more outside people in to collaborate. That would be something that Columbus could probably do better. Just kind of bringing the outside community in.
Do you think you'll stay here for like almost indefinitely?
This feels like home. So as of right now, I don't know where else I would go. I like New York. I love being in New York. New York's really tough, and eventually I think it might wear me out. But who knows? I mean, I guess every time I feel like New York is the abusive boyfriend I've always wanted. So will I stay with the abusive boyfriend until the end of time? I mean, it's like, it's terrible. It kicks you in the fucking ass, but then it's also the sweetest, nicest, most romantic thing ever. So it's as of right now, yeah, I'm gonna be in New York. I'll be in New York for a long time.
How did you feel about the audience there? What could they have done to kind of better support?
The audience is
you?
much different in Columbus than it is here. I mean, you have a lot of tourism here. Audiences are different here depending on where you go. You can go to, a theater in Brooklyn with regulars, or you could wind up being, in Times Square for people who have no idea who you are. I sure as hell know when I'm done, though. The audiences are completely different. What can a Columbus audience do? Let's just talk about regulars, like people who would regularly come to a burlesque show, people who are trying to support. So regardless of audience in general, let's just talk about, an audience, repeat audience. I think that people are willing to spend a lot more money and dish out a lot more money here to support artists, whether it's cover at an event, or supporting by we have people who come to shows and give money to us for tips, for people just appreciate it. They show up, and not only do they show up, but they show up consistently, and they like being there. They genuinely like being there. In Columbus, I feel like a lot of it is just something to do instead of something that you're passionate about, being involved. There's a burlesque organization here, Wasabasco. I'm wearing my Wasabasco agent's pin here.
Hold on, let's get a zoom in on
You
that.
want to zoom in on that? Wasabasco's about to have its 10th anniversary show, so it's been around for 10 years, and they've built a little subcategory called the Wasabasco's Agents. And these agents, they get together outside of burlesque shows. They come dressed in costume to burlesque shows. They all take pride in wearing their pins. They post pictures online. They help support and promote events. They even help, if they need to help run sound at a show, or it really is a community of people who support the artist community. So that's really important. In Columbus, there really wasn't a lot of that. Not people who were willing to. Everybody was in their own world. Not people who were willing to sign up and be on board 100% for a group of artists. And that's just the audience.
And how do you feel about the kind of artist mentality in Columbus right now as compared to New York?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, because it hits you hard.
Yeah. So Columbus has to get its head out of its ass. A lot of people in a smaller area get so wrapped up in being something and feeling really important, and you're not important. Nobody's important. I'm not important. It wasn't until I moved here to New York that I realized that I was not important. And it's not until you realize that you're not important that you really start creating good art, because it's not about you anymore. I mean, it's kind of about you, but it's not. It's not as egotistic. It's not as egocentric. It's not as I don't know, narcissistic. It is truly still narcissistic, but just you get knocked down a peg.
You're trying to get yourself back to the point where you feel like the shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. You feel like you have to work to be the shit, not that you are the shit. Sometimes you feel like you are the shit, but that's after you put in the work.
So you kind of feel like there's almost just a lack of challenge.
Definitely a lack of challenge. 100% a lack of challenge. Yes. I am blessed. This New York burlesque dancer community here and the people who work here are so top-notch phenomenal. I am spoiled rotten. But that's what makes me good.
Do you feel like the people who are the top-notch that you're kind of idolizing at this point, they still kind of bash each other just to make each other work a little bit harder?
I mean, I wouldn't say that we bash each other. Yeah, no. It's more of we're all in competition for the same stuff. We all want the same, well, sort of. But there's, we're all looking to get better jobs. We're all, that better gig. We're all looking to make a name for ourselves. And in order to do that, you have to be as good as your peers. And my peers are phenomenal.
I just get to sit one-on-one with people and really hear their stories that they never talk about out loud most of the time.
Yeah, because who asks those questions?
Yeah. I love it.
How's the tea?
Absolutely delicious.
God damn.
What?
My tea is still so fucking hot. It's scalding.
Really? You gotta open it up.
Yeah, I gotta open this shit up. This is serious thermos, man. Look at it. Look how hot it is.
Yeah, leave that open.
What are you, hungry? I just gave you a treat.